What's up? This is your girl Faith with QWA Podcast, and we are back again. I am so excited to be speaking with my audience at this time. But today we're going to be speaking on a very important topic, but not to be taken advantage of. We're going to be speaking on education and just why education is important, the benefits of education, and more. Right now we have our special guest, Dr. Ashanti Israel, and she is an educator. She's going to be speaking a little bit more about her backstory of education and just why it is important. How are you doing, Dr. Israel?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
So awesome. So I just want to go to a couple of questions and just touch base on your importance of education. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's great.
All right, fantastic. So the first thing we're going to speak on is that I hear that you got your PhD.
Yes,
Congratulations on that.
thank you.
How long have you been in education?
I've been in education for over 26 and a half years.
26 years. Does it ever get tiring? Do you ever worry about it?
There's never a dull day.
Never a dull day. Is there anything that you have experienced in your time of educating that you can live up to and actually tell students and speak on?
Um, Live up to and speak on. So, what I can say about my experience in the educational realm is that um, every day is a learning lesson. Um, I am a lifelong learner, so I find myself, even with my students, learning something new. Um, you do have to make sure that education is for you because education is not for everyone. Some people, they are able to just start a business and make lots of money that way, or some people, they want to work for the corporations, and most of the corporations, they require for you to have an education. So oftentimes the degree of choice is a master's degree, um, and other fields that are not corporate based, some require a bachelor's degree. But either way, um, for me, education was the most essential thing for my life because ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to be called a doctor. At the time, I didn't know the differences between a medical doctor or a doctor of philosophy. So I just wanted to be called a doctor. I worked in the hospital when I was younger for 2.5 years as a candy striper, and I used to see the doctors walk around and help patients. And my passion has always been that of service. So working in the service field within the medical field, I thought that I was going to go that route, but God had a different plan for me, and with that different plan, it led me in the educational realm, in the education field, and I've been doing that and have grown to love it.
That's awesome. That's actually very interesting because it goes into my next question of have you always been interested in education or did you just get warped into it?
Actually, no, it was kind of like a fluke. One day, I was going for a job interview, or actually looking for a job, because I was working for a temporary service and I wanted something more permanent. So I went to, at the time, it was called Cobo Hall. I went to one of their annual job fairs, and I got a lot of different offers and so forth. And as I went back to my mom's house, my spirit led me to leave her house to go to where I'm working at now. And it's a long story in how it transpired and how I was able to get that job. But let's just say I was hired in the elevator.
Oh, awesome. That's an interesting story. So I wanted to know before, like, when you speak on your education and you started off as a doctor, was there anything in your experience that you hope to encourage students or even in speaking to them about your experiences and what to do in the future regarding education?
Someone asked me, actually, it was one of my daughters asked me, did I always know what I wanted to be? The answer to that question was no. I thought I wanted to be a psychologist. And so when I left high school and went to college, I my major at the time was psychology. But that did not work out for me. Actually, I was deterred to not even pursue it. So, in not pursuing it, I wind up doing what I do now, which is a plethora of different things. I was trained to be able to actually run the college or a college if need be, so or a department if need be. So my background is in student services, and that's where all my training has been. Now, a word of encouragement to students: when you leave high school, you always have this mindset that you want to do this particular thing. And then when you get into it, you decide not to do it. But you spent so many countless hours in this particular program. What you don't want to do, it's always good to explore. It's always good to explore. But what you don't want to do is continue to take different classes in different subjects and they not count towards your program or your degree. So sometimes it's good to just pause, get really quiet, and pray about where you should go, what degree you should fulfill. Find out within yourself what is it that you love to do. Once you figure out what you love to do, then that's just the first step. Then you're able to figure out, okay, if I love this thing, what program of study and what college is offering this particular program that I can take. And once you come up with that, then you're able to figure out what program or what degree you should be going for versus taking a whole bunch of classes and they do not count towards anything. So that's my word of advice to new students and current.
Awesome. It's an amazing answer. So I just have a few more questions for you. And my other question is, you went into your PhD and graduated. Was it anything that you really enjoyed about getting your PhD?
During the uh, defense, because when you are trying to get your doctorate, you have to defend. So at the end of my defense, they said, well, thank you, Dr. Ashanti Buckley. At the time, my last name was Buckley. And to hear doctor in front of my name, and it was official, because people will play around with it, but to actually hear it official, the official title, was the highlight of my life. That let me know that I've excelled. I've surpassed my own thoughts of myself.
Awesome. My last and final question for you before we wrap this up is, what would you take out of getting that education, and what is something that you would tell students who are out there trying to get the same education that you accomplished?
There's this thing in the doctorate program that's called jumping off the ledge. Things get hard. Life comes at you with all different types of punches. You sometimes want to just scream, and I did that on a few occasions. I would get in my car, I would scream to the top of my lungs. I told my husband, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. It's too hard. It's driving me crazy. I just wanted to give up. And my husband, my children, um, and my mentors were my backbone. And when I was talking about giving up, they were saying, you bet not. And I know that sounds a little slangish, but they said you better not, you know. Um, so the advice that I would give to any and all students is to have a support system. Have those around you who actually support your vision for your life. And make sure that you surround yourself around people who are going in the same direction that you are trying to go in. If you're dealing with people who are, you know, stagnant, then they're not going to encourage your progress. So find someone who is already there. Have a conversation. It's always good. Not always tell my students this. Communication is a big thing for me. If you don't communicate, if you don't let me know what's going on with you, I can't help you. I can't show you or guide you or, you know, find out what's going on with you to help you get over a hurdle. So communicate. So don't keep your lips closed and think that someone is going to read your mind because you feel so passionately about whatever this is that you're going through or dealing with. You have to talk to people, and oftentimes you will find that people are dealing with the same exact thing that you're dealing with, you know. So communicate, get a support system, and never give up. Never give up. Never give up. Never surrender. And that's off of a movie. That's an inside joke. But never give up. Never surrender. Never give up on yourself. And write down your visions. Write down your thoughts. Whatever it is that you feel as though you want to do for your life, write it down. Write it down and look at it on a regular basis so that you can make sure you're going in the right direction.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Israel, for that insight, and we look forward to hearing from you again. This is your girl, Faith, QWA Podcast, logging out. I will see you guys on the flip side. Peace out.